Big bunch sprint to begin the Tour of Hungary today. We've got some good sprinters here. Dylan Groenewegen, Bauhaus, Malocelli, who just won in Tour of Turkey, as well as Welsford and the Danny van Poppel pairing. We begin in the beautiful Budapest, finishing in Győr, almost a pancake flat sprint stage. Remind me of the actual Giro Grande Partenza in Budapest a couple of years ago. But we've got Caja Rural here as well. Fisherman's Bastion, I think the TT went up to there. But indeed, a big opportunity for the local teams to get in the breakaway today. They can take points at the intermediate sprint and fight for that jersey. So there was a big fight for the breakaway initially. Jayco and Bahrain were controlling things to make sure the right breakaway went, and it did in the end, although they kept them at a very, very short leash. 177Ks, a long stage to start with. Janos Pelikan took the first intermediate sprint. Actually, good crowds here for the first intermediate sprint and at the finish. And we had Jayco Alula controlling, but a very tight gap. They kept it at like 130 for a lot of the day. Ben Wiggins, who was riding up on the men's or the Jayco Alula World Tour team, he's on the Devo team, but because it's not a World Tour race, he can race with the World Tour squad in this race. Looks like Oliveira crashed, Welsford and Van Poppel cooking up a plan for the sprint, I guess. But when you keep a gap that tight, but these short hills, it was a steep hill, 10% average for like 800 meters. It could have been a bridging opportunity for some riders that didn't want to sprint to go across to the breakaway, but that didn't happen. The stage was still locked down by Jayco, by Trek for Tim Teutenberg, by Astana for Malocelli, and Red Bull didn't actually, I don't think they pulled as much as the other team, but the break still went pretty deep into the race, so it could be risky if they keep the gap that close tomorrow where there's some more hills. 15Ks to go, still at 40 seconds, but always under control. Really, really long stage for the breakaway out there. We were going to have a big bunch sprint. And to familiarize you with the lead-out men, we've got the Oliveira brothers and Covey for Milano, the UAE Team Emirates sprinter. We've got Mezgets for Dylan Groenewegen, Danny van Poppel, and was supposed to be Vandal for Welsford, but he crashes and can't really participate in this sprint. And then Gleb Syriza, who you'll all recognize for Malocelli on XDS Astana. So breakaway caught, 5Ks to go. We're going to have that big sprint. Yeah, Juan Sebastian Milano, he's one of those sprinters. UAE keep him, he's their only pure sprinter on the team. They don't really have many sprinters, although they win plenty anyway. But they keep him around for UAE Tour, for shoulder praise, for Depana. He normally doesn't get the best lead out, and he still wins. He won in Depana. It's a World Tour one-day race, and he still picked up that win with a really smart move in the chaotic finish, because he's good in the chaos. Is he the best sprinter in the world? No. Does he still win like 4 races a year without much help a lot of the time? Yes. But in fact, we see the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe train, they're waiting at the back of the UAE train. They're sitting on them with 2.3Ks to go. Bahrain next to UAE, and UAE actually have the best train. The Milano getting a good lead out. It's got the Oliveira brothers and Covey. Big left-hander there. High speed. You see Rui Oliveira is about to get in the radio with Milano on his wheel to tell them to speed up or change because they're going to get swamped a little bit. It's all about this right-hand corner with 350 meters to go. You have to be in good position for that right-hand corner. If you're not in the top 5 wheels, you can't win this sprint. And yeah, we see impressive from UAE doing the lead out. Jayco nearly get there. It's Volscheid, Mezgets, and then Groenewegen, but they actually can't get across the UAE train. Maybe they got chopped out of it, but yeah, Oliveira, really, really good job at Van Poppel. He sprints across to the wheel of Oliveira. Welsford leaves his wheel, or someone chopped him out of it. Bauhaus is not in position. Groenewegen didn't react quick enough to get to Oliveira's wheel, and so Van Poppel slingshots around him, needing to be first through this corner. Gleb Syriza is in between him and Dylan Groenewegen, and through this corner, Oliveira's just done half a lead out. Syriza is not that explosive. Malocelli's 3 wheels behind him. Groenewegen's got no lead out to sew up any gaps that may occur, and a gap does. Oliveira looked behind, pulled out, dropped the wheel of Van Poppel, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Milano wasn't in a competitive position to sprint anyway, but for the others, it means Danny van Poppel is able to take the prize win from the lead out by going into that first corner, 300 meters to go. And Van Poppel says afterwards, I wasn't the plan. He was surprised, but yeah, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He took that corner on rails. Welsford wasn't on his wheel, and it was a smart thing to do. Oliveira's looking around, drops the wheel a little bit. Van Poppel kicks really, really hard like a sprinter out of that corner. And yeah, he timed it better than anybody, and this was the way Red Bull Bora-Hansgrohe were able to win the race. Teutenberg, a very strong sprint, I would say, coming up to Van Poppel. Groeneweggen's not able to come around him in time, so watch out for the young German who just came up to the World Tour Trek team this year. But yeah, big win for Van Poppel, who hadn't won for a couple of years, ahead of Teutenberg, then Groenewegen, Brustinger, Malocelli, Stolic, Bauhaus, Welsford, Kolnagi, and Kopecky. Here's what Danny Van Poppel had to say.
Your first victory since the 2023 Tour of Britain. Were you quite surprised to finish this off?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, was not the plan. But yeah, we would go for the sprint with Sam. And I knew I had to take the corners first. And I just I went us first in, so and then tailwind was super important, and then I had no idea at 50 meters before the finish. I look around and then I was gone. I'm super happy.
Tomorrow we've got probably another sprint stage. It's a little bit hillier. There's a hill close to the finish. If they keep the gap to the break too tight, maybe someone will try and jump across. Hope you enjoyed the recap, and I'll see you with the recap tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.